Hi everyone, this is going to be a video on the types of guys you need to avoid dating / red flags. So guys that I have dated in the past when I was young and didn't know the things that I know now, in addition to like my tolerance for bullshit, like after I hit 30 was like non-existent. But anyways, I digress. So you're more than likely gonna see them immediately, but sometimes as women, we have a tendency to not pay attention to what these guys are telling us from the beginning. You know, I don't know what we're doing. We're too busy thinking about how many children we're gonna have with them or what our wedding's gonna be like, something stupid like that, and not paying attention to their actions and if they're gonna, you know, be the right guy for us. And I know a lot of it also had to do with just developing stronger boundaries and not putting up with bullshit. So, but if you don't know, you know, what is, like, why you're picking these guys, or you're not noticing what the red flags are, this video will definitely help you. So I want to believe that I didn't date all these assholes for nothing. So if I can help someone recognize these red flags in the beginning, then if you want to know what a real man is like, listen to Keep Your Head Up by Tupac, because he was a real man. Why were you taken from us so soon? And women, even anyone, if you have not heard that song, like, you need to listen to it immediately, like right now. Like, I'll wait. So then you will know in your head what a real man is supposed to think and say and how they're supposed to treat you. Alright, you guys listen to it? We're good? Are you ready to talk about 10 types of guys to avoid? So the first one I want to talk about is he's a comparison shopper. He's always looking and keeping his options open, thinking that there's gonna be a woman better, and oh, I can't be in a relationship because I might miss this perfect person, but they never exist because it's just all in their head. They're just looking for something better. They will never be satisfied with what they have. So this type of guy, he's usually like a serial dater. He'll be like on all the online dating sites, and he will date you for a few weeks, then he'll disappear for a few months, and then you'll hear from him again, and he'll want to just go back to the way things were. And it's like, that's not how it works, bruh. Like, no. I dated this guy. We had gone on maybe like 3 dates. They were not anything to like write home about. And then I just didn't hear from him, and I was fine with that. He wasn't anything like extraordinary, so I just figured that we had both agreed to move on because we weren't doing it for each other. Like, that's fine, you know, move on. There was no chemistry there, fine, whatever. But so then I had posted a picture on Facebook. That's always the trigger, isn't it? Like, I should have some videos that are like Facebook Messenger, what's the word I'm thinking of? Confessionals or something. But anyway, so I posted a picture, and it would be like 3 months later, and then he'll contact me again, be like, oh, we should go out on a date. But the red flag for me, not only was it that I hadn't heard from him in months, but now all of a sudden he's so interested and has to go on a date with me again. But then he was like, yeah, we need to go get some drinks. And I'm like, drinks? So I'm going to kind of go into the second one, which is a guy that is cheap. And I'm not talking about they just don't have that much money to spend on you. They have the money. They are just cheap. And I was like, what about dinner? And he said, I don't buy dinner for women on the first date. And I said, this isn't our first date. We've been on like 3 dates before. So this would be the 4th date. And he's like, well, we haven't talked in months, so technically this is our first date. I was like, the reason we haven't talked in months is not because of me. You're the guy. You're supposed to be courting me. And if you wanted to go out on another date, contact me, which you did not. So because you waited months because you were comparing and dating other people and then realized that I was the best out of all of them, you don't want to pay for dinner now. Like, no, I'm good. And he, like, when I said that, where I'm like, I'm good, he just flipped it. And I'm like, okay, now I for sure know why you're single. Because you're crazy as fuck. Okay, so yeah, number 2. And you know, I mean, I guess if you date a lot of people, if you're a serial dater, you're not going to have the money to pay for dinner. So drinks is an interview. That is not a date. So if someone is serious about you, they are not going to hesitate for 1 second to take you out to a nice meal. Because, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay, number 3. All right, this guy talks about sex like every 3rd word. He is going to ask you insanely intimate questions, and he also might like challenge you, like ask you challenging questions like, oh, I bet you're a prude, you're not wild, or you don't know how to have fun. Because then a lot of women will be like, oh really? Well, let me show you. And I've actually read, there are books out there that talk about how to get women to sleep with you. And that was one of the techniques they talked about. There's even YouTube channels out there with guys talking about how to get women to sleep with you quickly and easily. And that is one of the techniques they use. So if guys ask you questions like that, or say, you know, it's you and a friend and you're out at the club and this guy comes up to you and then you start flirting and then he's like, oh, I bet you guys won't kiss or do something like that. He's clearly just trying to have sex with you. Do not take it, you do not have to prove anything to any man, ever, ever. And also, if a man is seriously interested in you and beginning a relationship with you, he's not going to ask you questions like that because he's not going to want to know the answer. I mean, they might ask you questions like that, but you know how you ask questions and you really don't want to know the answer? Like, that's how it is. You should never talk about any sexual encounters with anyone you're currently with. Because even if they ask you, they really don't want to know the answer unless they are just trying to sleep with you. Got it? Okay, moving on. Number 4. He's overly cocky and not in a good way. He's going to be telling you how all these other women are pursuing him and flirting with him and interested in him. He may possibly surround himself with other women, like a lot of other women, to try and kind of invoke some jealousy in you. He's constantly flirting with other women, like looking at women when they walk by. That is someone who is also just looking for the next bigger and better breasts. Or female, but you know what I'm getting at. When you are in a relationship with someone, they should make you feel like you were the only woman in the world. And that's just how it should be. If they don't, bye-bye. Kick him to the curb. All right. The next guy, he is a misogynist. If you look up misogyny in the dictionary, you were going to see his picture. He may or may not have a horrible relationship with his mother, but he has a hatred for women that he may know or may not know about. Somewhere in his past, he was hurt by a woman, so now he has a deep hatred for women. This is going to be the guy that calls his maybe ex-wife or girlfriend crazy or bipolar or psycho. You should never be calling a female a bitch or crazy or a psycho, because we're just women. We are emotional creatures, and you can't say someone's crazy for feeling things. And that's what misogynists do. They blame the females and say it's their fault and they're crazy, when it's only because they were being provoked and they were being mistreated. So yeah, you know, when that happens to a normal woman with emotions, they're gonna lash out. This is the guy that would be like, why are you being such a bitch? Are you on your period? I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes to get out of my face and never speak to me again, because in order for me to be a nurse, I have to go through a level 2 background check, and I'm about to get a felony if you say one more motherfucking word to me. You know? Like how, like that doesn't make, anyway. Do not ever say that to a woman, ever. But another thing that misogynists are going to do, if there is any sort of like competition or anything that a woman wins, oh my god, that would ruin his fucking world. Like, the same guy that I dated, we went bowling on a date one night. And, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm pretty good at bowling. So, I won, not of course, but I won, you know. And he could not deal with it. Oh my god. It was just crazy. Like, really? It was just a bowling game. Like, the world's not going to end. But it seemed like his world was about to end because I beat him. And I was a woman. God forbid. Alright, anyways. So, the next one I want to talk about, I call him Fast Forward Freddy. And it's because he's going to start calling you babe or baby way too soon in the relationship. Like, maybe after a couple days, weeks, I mean, yeah, a couple days. And you'll know because it just feels kind of uncomfortable. Like, I'm not your baby. You don't even know me. Or they may also tell you that they love you way too soon. I had a guy tell me he loved me after a month. I'm like, you don't even know me. How are you going to tell me you love me? Like, no. When they start like fast forwarding like that, they're trying to make you feel these intense emotions so that when they start treating you poorly, you'll be like, oh, but you know, like you feel like there's an emotional attachment that's not really there, because they start fast forwarding, making you feel these intense emotions that are not really there. You know, we can sometimes, I think as females, you know, we grow up like watching all these fairy tales and Disney movies and think that it's not love if you don't want to get married after only spending one night together. Like, Disney movies have made us think that that's normal and that it's not real love or chemistry or otherworldly love if you don't want to get married after one night. Like, that's just not normal, but we've been made to feel like it is, and usually it's us that are the ones that are rushing and doing things like that. But we just need to slow down. And so if he's doing that, then you know that there are some issues there. All right. The next one, I call him Ebenezer Scrooge. This could have been the cheap one too, but also because he's afraid of the ghosts of Christmas past. This is the guy that will not talk about his past no matter what. Asking questions and getting to know someone is a normal part of dating. And there's a difference between, we have to ask certain questions in order to know certain things about people. One of the questions that I asked was, when was your last relationship and why did it end? And he was just giving me these short answers. Oh, because she was crazy. That's not really a good answer. So what happened why do you feel that she's crazy? Like, what happened? Tell me about it. But he was just not giving me the whole picture. And I'm like, just what are you trying to hide? When you are avoiding a question so blatantly, it's clearly something that there's an unresolved hurt there if you can't even talk about it. But what he did instead was turn it around on me. Why are you asking so many questions? Don't you trust me? You're insecure. This is ridiculous. And then just went off the grid for like days and came back and tried to talk to me. I'm like, no. Like, that is a huge red flag. Like, everybody has a past. If you can't even talk about it, then you shouldn't be in a new relationship, because clearly you are harboring onto a lot of anger and a lot of hurt still from that relationship, and you need to deal with that first before you try to jump into a new relationship. And I have done things in my past that I'm not proud of course. But it's part of who I am, and I will never be ashamed to talk about it if someone asks me. If someone does not want to talk about their past, run. Like, girl, run. Far, far away. Be like the girl in, is that Forrest Gump? Make me a bird so I can fly far, far away. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about, I call him Peter Pan, because he is forever a boy that will never grow up. But he's going to be like the partier, the guy that likes to have a great time. He knows everyone. Everyone knows him. And you're just like, how do you know like every single person in this town? Like, what's been going on? Oh, you've been partying every night for the past 40 years. That's how. But he doesn't take life or anything seriously. He may be a good time and very charismatic and appealing, but this is definitely a guy you need to stay away from. I tell you from personal experience, run. Because they're going to end up 40, living at home, trying to come back into your life and destroy it again. I won't let him. He just doesn't take life seriously. Sometimes he'll have a job, sometimes he won't. But just a partier. And when you ask those types of guys, when you ask Peter Pans what their intentions with you are, your answer is going to be, oh, I'm just trying to have a good time with you. Wrong answer. Alright, the next one is the flake. And this is going to be that cancels at the last minute, repeatedly. He is not going to call when he says he's going to call, and he doesn't show up when he says he's going to show up. And I understand everything happens. Life happens. Shit happens. One time, okay, understandable. But repeatedly, do not allow anyone to do that to you. Like, we tend to believe like these bullshit excuses when we hear them. Like, these guys will be like, oh, my cat flew into the TV and the fire department had to come and rescue him. It's just like stupid shit. But I guess we believe that they're not just wasting our time, but they are. So please get away. Like, this is also the guy that just doesn't have enough time for you. Like, you send them one text and they're like, Stop blowing up my phone like I'm at work. I'm busy. Even though it's been like a week since you've heard from them. Like, oh really? You're that busy? Because you work a part-time job. Like, I'm a full-time nurse and I'm starting a YouTube channel. But you're busy? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Just kidding. I haven't dated any one of those recently because I just won't put up with it anymore. When you want someone in your life, you make them a priority. And if someone doesn't text or call me, then I am not a priority in their life, and I'm not going to stay in it. I'm not going to allow myself to be disrespected like that anymore, and you shouldn't either. All right, the last guy / red flag I want to talk about is he's a control freak. He will take you out on nice dates and dinners, but he's going to be the one who has to be moved like several times in the restaurant, has to have like the perfect seat. They have to control everything, including you. So they're gonna try and control what you wear, what you eat, how you spend your time. So if you are a woman who has like more than 5 brain cells and a mind of her own, stay far, far away from this guy. Like, he might give you gifts like a phone or something else, and you're like, oh, how thoughtful, but it's really because they're just trying to control you in some way. When I was real young, I dated this one guy who, he was like, you're not allowed to wear skirts when you go out without me. And like, at first I thought it was cute. I'm like, oh, he's being like so protective and just jealous of other guys, and I thought it was cute, but it turns into so much more. They'll start out by controlling little things like what you wear, like that, and then it slowly gets worse to where you're not able to get out. So hopefully this video helped some of you out there. I'm hoping it did. And if you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to be friends and hang out with me some more. We'll talk about beauty, dating, personal growth, and just being the best person you can be and loving yourself. Because we come into this world alone, and no matter what happens, we leave this world alone. And I believe that the relationships throughout our life are so important, but they shouldn't be more important than the relationship with ourselves. So, all right guys, I'll see you in my next video.